Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hope. My name is Tammy Lynn Connors. This is my podcast and YouTube channel, helping other people evolve. Today, I have the beautiful Sharon Jackson with me. How are you, Sharon?
I'm doing great.
Good, good. I'm super excited to hear Sharon's story. I haven't heard her entire story. We've been friends for a little while now.
Yep.
Jeez, I can't even think how long.
About to be a year,
Probably close to a year. Yeah, I met her through Nicola, who I've done my Nights of Hope at her art gallery. And so Sharon and I have become friends and we do some things together. And her story I know is very powerful. I've heard bits and pieces of different types of her story. So I'm so excited to hear her story. And
Okay.
I know that all of you will be too. And I hope that maybe it'll inspire you that today to get out of bed. It'll remind you that there is always hope. And that's just what my mission and vision is. Just for those that are at home that feel like they're all alone in their struggles, you know, you can hear Sharon's story, my story, Jason's story, somebody's story, and get out of bed that day and just know that you can get through any struggle. So
Anything.
I'm super excited. We're sitting here today too because she has her own business, Deflame Candles
Yep.
and oils and stuff. So we want to just showcase that a little bit, you know, give her a shout out for that, but we'll talk about that a little bit at the end. So Sharon, did you grow up here in Toledo?
Yes, I grew born and raised here. I was born over on the west side of Toledo off of Macomber.
Okay.
Over by DeVilbiss. I went to DeVilbiss High School. And yeah, and then I studied after high school. I went into computer repair tech. And that wasn't challenging enough for me because I like a challenge.
Okay.
So I ended up switching my major and I started working and driving truck. And that's how I got into trucking and stuff like that. So I started out in the trucking. And then after trucking, I ended up just trying to purchase a home for my kids because I was working 90 hours, 70 to 90 hours a week driving dump trucks. And I didn't have time for the kids, 15 hours a day some days and only Sundays off. And it was a lot. So I had to change careers and I went to dental school after I left the trucking and became a dental assistant so I can have more hours, less hours and more time at home with my family.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was the truck, I saved up my money, I purchased this home and I made it affordable. So if I wasn't able to work, I could still afford to live here. So that's what I did. I ended up getting it all taken care of in, about 10 to 15 years. And my life just progressed from there.
Okay, so now we're gonna rewind. Woo, we're gonna go way back. We're gonna go back to Sharon growing up and what way back. Like what was life for you as let's just go into like maybe teenagers or maybe before that. Whenever it is for you that let's just say, because as we talk like right now, everybody's like, well shit, she's got it together, man. She's got a house, she's got this candle business. But I know that Tammy has her on this podcast because she's been through a struggle. So, wherever you want to start, like when I know that in life you had some struggles, you went through some shit.
Oh yeah,
a lot.
I did. I did. Well, when I was young, because I was a teenager, we all were young teenagers. But as I was younger, I was very adventurous and also rebellious.
Okay.
I was raised in a two-parent household with my mom and dad. They were married 52 years. They wanted me to go to college. They wanted me to do all the things I was supposed to do and stay home and go to school, but not me. I was hard-headed. I wanted to be outside with everybody else having what I thought was fun. And so I started my life at a very early age, getting into the streets and all kind of stuff. I had a great upbringing. My parents raised me well. We had everything we wanted. It was just that for me, I had everything I wanted, but I wanted the streets. I don't know why I wanted to be out there so bad. And I was out there, and I learned a lot out there. I don't take nothing from it because I had a great time and I learned a lot and I met people, but it wasn't for me because I got into dating and then I started to date older guys, and I had one guy when I was 17, I met him. I chased him like I wanted this older man. He was 34. Girl, please. So I done got with him, contacted him. We talked and was friends, and he was like, I'm not about to talk to you until you turn 18.
Right.
So we were just friends hanging out. I wasn't far from 18. So I already had a kid. I had a child at 16. So I was in high school with the child. I was pregnant. And I couldn't even sit in class. So I was hiding my pregnancy from my dad, from the school, from my friends. Nobody knew I was pregnant.
Oh, goodness.
I was in the library, did my work, went home. So when I finally said I was pregnant was to my dad, I was almost 9 months. I was 8 months pregnant. So that kind of shocked him. So I went through with the pregnancy. I had my son. I'm still in the streets. I'm still dealing, pushing the stroller with drugs and stuff in the
So
bottom of it.
you dealt drugs?
I was selling
Okay.
crack cocaine at a young age. So I started that and I was probably 15, 16, because that's what I was around. That was my environment. I wanted some of it because I wanted my own money. I wanted them books of food stamps they was giving us for the crack and all that, and I could give it to my mom and buy food in the house.
Right.
So I'm trying to provide, which I didn't need to. My dad worked at Davis Best Flower Plant, girl.
Okay.
I didn't have to do nothing.
Right.
My mom didn't have to work. We had it made, and I was just hard-headed. So I was leading myself down a road of destruction, which I didn't even know. So I was in the streets. I was drinking. I was smoking cigarettes at 14. I got into smoking pot at 14. And I was just a bad kid to the point they started calling me Action Jackson because I was in gangs. I was fighting every day. I was a bully. Girl, when I tell you, that's a whole nother story. That
Well, we're going to talk about that because you did mention that one time in one of our women's meetings. You were talking about that. I was looking at you like,
I would never. Oh, Lord. That was a life.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So let's go ahead then. So you're dealing, you had your son.
Oh, yeah, I
and then
had
you
my
met
son.
this man.
Oh, yeah, I met him.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had my own apartment. I moved out at 17, so I went and got an apartment. I was working 2 jobs. So I met a lady at work. She had an apartment. Rent was $190. So I'm like, what? Cool, let's get this. So I can get the apartment, get my utilities. My mom and dad had to sign for me to move. I'm right down the street. I'm like 2 blocks from them.
Okay.
So now all they see at night is me walking up and down the street dealing. I had a job.
Right.
I had 2 jobs and I had 2 cars. I was started driving at 16, 17, and I had cars. I was very responsible, but I was just a knucklehead, wanted to be out there. I never got in trouble, like went to jail for it or none of that. I was real good at what I did. So, but I got with the guy and didn't know that he was on drugs.
Oh, okay.
He was already on drugs when I met him, and he was such older, he was finessing me. So I didn't know. He just got him a young girl. I started realizing drugs coming up missing because I kept a little stash for some of my people that I knew that, they come over and visit. I'd say, here you go. Right. But one day I go in there and it was gone. I'm like, ain't nobody been over here today. Where is that? And so I questioned him about it. He get mad. It blow up. That was one of our first arguments about anything. Then after that, he started to get mentally abusive. But he started out great. I come home from work. He got the bathwater ran, steak dinners. He was cook. He worked 2 jobs, had the air conditioner on, left me money, left me anything I wanted. He was a great man. But them drugs is what was the beginning and the end of our 4 years. So I ended up having a kid by him. And it was a trip. Like he literally would lock me in the apartment while he go to work and take my car, and then I had to call my mom or call somebody to go to the store for me, and I'm up in the duplex, so I couldn't get out because the door, you needed a key to get in and out. And girl, one time the insurance man come, knock on the door, I let him in. That's when I started getting locked in the house after I let him in and tell him he wasn't home and I couldn't make the payment. Girl, I got accused of everything under the sun, but he was just mentally abusive. So we was there. I ended up leaving him from that place, getting my own place because you're not going to treat me crazy. So I ended up leaving.
Was it hard? Let me ask real quick. Was it hard for you to leave him? Like, did he just, you're like, I'm out, and he was like, okay, bye?
No, honey, let me tell you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you about the day I left him.
Okay.
Because I'm almost left that out. The day I left him, I found out I was pregnant with my son. So I was going to the abortion clinic to look into getting an abortion. Okay. And I ended up calling him to pick me up. And he was leaving work from the golf club out in Holland Meadows. He come pick me up from from the clinic. And then he didn't know that that's what I was going to do. He thinking I'm just going to get a pregnancy test, which that was part of it too. But I still had questions because wasn't ready for another child. That was my 3rd one. Okay. Because I already had a son, a daughter. Now here go another baby. I'm not even 20 years old. Okay. So he picked me up and we driving. My oldest son, dad, paid child support at that time, and he was in the military in the Navy, so I didn't see him much. He was always kind of jealous of anything like that. So we got in a conversation about visitation. And he said, so and you saying that anybody can visit their kid long as they paying child support. And I said, yeah, but he taking it mentally. He wanted to fight and argue. So he like, any time of night, so they can come at 2 a.m. and see that. I said, no, they, girl, why did he have a gun in the car? It's pouring down, raining, and he get on the highway out there in 23. You know how that curve come around Pennsylvania? And he skidded, got on that highway, girl, and he pulled this shotgun out and put it right to my face. And somehow you tell me that he gonna all this come over, and I'm just looking at him like, are you serious right now? Like, it's raining so hard. He loved guns, he loved knives, he done threw knives across, and they done went straight across my face like that. That was, girl, please. I went through some crazy stuff with him. Yeah. And so after he done put this gun to me and driving me, so before that, he shot my cat in the house over an argument. He just shot the cat over $50. I asked him where it was at. He went in and drugged it up, came back, and he told me, what you mean? Don't ask me no questions, and shot this cat. The cat woke up, went up the wall, back down, and died. And I just sat there. My friends were scared. They was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And I'm just like, girl, that's just what he do. They was like, you are too calm. So he told me, I'm out of here. I said, well, take the cat with you. And I went back to drinking and having my fun, because baby, you ain't about to ruin my day.
Right.
So when he had me on the highway this day, this was the day I left. He had the gun to me. He drove all the way home. He went and took my daughter from wherever she was at. He got her, and then he left with her. Because he like, you ain't taking my baby or whatever, because he called me a B. That B word, I don't play with that. So you call me that, it's pretty much over with. And I was done after that. So I just laughed. I went in there, I started packing my stuff. He had left. So after he dropped me off, he left. He came back while I was packing. I kind of got scared, but he come in laughing to me, where you think you about to go? He. I said, He told me, you ain't taking my baby. That's when he took her. He took her and went to his best friend house, which was a female, which smoked drugs too. So that's who he had been doing it with. So I'm just like, okay, I call my sister and I go move all my stuff out to her house. Only thing I left in that apartment was the bed. So when he came home, all he saw was that bed in the room, and that was it. So I'd have moved. I practically lived in and out of my car. I lived with her. Like, it was just rules though. When I leave, you gotta leave. So if you leave at 5 a.m, I gotta get up and leave at 5 a.m. with all 3 of these kids, or whatever, with both of them kids. And I'm just like, oh my God.
And now you're pregnant.
Yeah, so I'm pregnant. Right? So I'm like, okay. So I done moved out, went and got me another apartment, and I had the baby. Nope, I was still pregnant. I ain't even had a baby. He came back. His cousin stayed upstairs, so he came trying to talk to me. He ain't had nowhere to live. He couldn't do nothing but depend on me, a grown man. So he came. Oh, girl, that's the story of my life. But so he came, and I let him stay in the apartment, being weak-minded and all that. I let him come back. Girl, I don't know why. Probably because he was a good dad. He was a good man, period. But he just had them issues.
And there's always still, I'm going to stop you right there, because that's something that I talk to a lot of people about too, and something that I did too. You just said, okay, he had shot the cat, had a gun to my head,
but he's still a good person.
Right. But you know what I feel like with that, and this is my opinion.
They kill you. You can.
Well, there's that too. But they have that glimmer of hope in them. Like, you see, like, one day, like, oh my God, yeah, that's why I fell in love with you, or that's why I feel this way about you, because you gave me that glimmer of hope. And like my ex, so my kid's dad, well, I just call him a sperm donor, but anyways,
right.
He would do that when he would get sober. He would be the best guy ever. Like, I was like, yes,
cooking,
this is everything. And I'd be like, this is why I'm with you. And then the drinking and drugging would start again. And then my head slammed against a wall.
Girl,
but then I would see that hope again. And it's such a hard thing for anybody, men or women, that go somebody, because I feel like a lot of us are empaths, and we just see that hope, and we know that it's there, and we can be the ones to help them, and we can be the ones to get them through it. Girl, I've learned I am not the one getting through it anymore. They can change themselves and then come see me 10 years down the road.
Them two incidents and the rest of them should have been a sign for the way it ended. Because, honey, let me get to that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So when I let him come back to the apartment, and we, we're together. And then I moved because I was trying to buy a house. My first house, I was turning 21. I'm like, I need to get this house. So I was like, I'm buying a house for my 21st birthday. I bought this one for my 30th birthday. So I'm always doing something nice for myself. And I bought a land contract from one of my mom's best friends. And we lived in that house probably about 2 years before it all took a toll. He was running next door, it was drug house next door. Girl leaving the kids at night while I'm at work, I work nights. My lunch would be at the door, hot. The car would be warmed up. He cooked, he cleaned. I never had to cook. I never had to clean. I never had to do laundry. He did the laundry. He would iron and press it, bring it home, hung up. He take the kids with him, took them to daycare, took them to school. He walked them back and forth. He did it all. And I was just worked and I ran the streets. I was not perfect. Believe me, I was not perfect at all.
Yeah.
I was young. He got me at a young age. He thought he could mold me. And baby, please, he was chasing me in the daytime with a flashlight. He could not keep me in that house. I was in every bar. He would go to bar looking for me. And I was a heavy drinker. So I was drinking Crown World. 13 years I drank it. All the way after past him, I still drink a fifth a day for 13 years. Like I was making myself sick till I couldn't drink it no more. So I was at the house and it just got so bad. All the mental abuse and all the threatening to kill me and everything. And one day I just was tired and I went to a revival and I went to the altar and the man asked, like, he said, when you come up here, let me, what you want God to do for you? And I fell on my knees and I said, I want God to change my life. I said, I need my life changed. I need God to bless my home. And, and I said, and if I'm on my knees, I'm talking to God. I'm like, Lord, if you get me out of this relationship, I promise you, I will never, ever go back. I felt different as soon as I got up. Baby, after that day, it felt like a shield was around me because nothing could touch me. That was on a Thursday night. By Friday, I started looking for a place. And third Saturday, I'm looking for a place. So I lived on vans. I used to drive up to 7-Eleven on Harley and get a newspaper. And I sat out there all day Sunday because that was matter of fact, Saturday was the day we going at it. We sit in the house and he mad because I'm ignoring him now. I'm just like, God got me. Because right now, you ain't nothing you can do to me. You done tried and it didn't work. So then I had confidence like, oh, God is really covering me. So I don't have to worry about nothing. He can't kill me.
Right.
He threatening to kill me. Girl, me and my friend, she's sitting like, where you at? We at the dining room table talking. He hated her because he knew she raised me from when I was 19.
Okay.
And she was in the streets. She was like a female pimp or something, but she taught me some stuff, baby. I'm telling you, I learned a lot from that lady. She just passed away in 2015, broke my heart. He came, girl, he threw a hammer, boom, and it flew by it went past her face, just like that. And she was like, what? And it's her cousin. And it went in there and it bashed against something. Then he picked it up, he went in the front room and bust the glass table because he couldn't do nothing that could make me react or nothing back. So I just sat there and I was like, okay. So then she left, then I left. I went and got the paper. I sat in the Harley in 7-Eleven. I read the paper. I got the listing. I started calling places, calling and calling, but I'm not thinking they're going to call my house phone.
Oh, right.
And he's going to answer it.
Right.
And sure enough, before I can get home, 2 people done already called me about a place. So I went and looked at one of them. It had radiators everywhere. So all day that I said, I can't do that. The kid's small. I don't want my baby touching no hot radiator.
Right.
Then the last call I got, he had already went off because he was like, oh, you trying to move, you trying to leave, blah, blah, blah. And I just didn't say nothing because wasn't nothing to say. I just prayed like, Lord, just get me through the night. But that Sunday was the day the man called me and he said, I have a place if you want to look at it. And I said, I do. So I go over on Waverly Street. I look at the apartment. And when I got out the car, he get out his car and I looked like, do I know him? This one I knew God was there, girl, because when I looked up, it was the deacon from my church. The deacon from my church that was raised up with my mom and dad in the church, the deacon. And he walked into me and he said, hey, Miss Jackson, whatever. And I said, wow. And he said, so when do you want to move in? After he showed me the apartment, I said, I need to move in now. And he was like, well, I don't have any keys made. And I said, I'll make the keys and I'll bring it to you. He stayed up the street on Shenandoah. I'm at Waverly and Door. He right across the road up the street. So I said, I'll get the keys made. I went and made the keys right away. Took it to him. My sister gave me a mattress, a pillow, and a blanket. I still didn't have my kids because I left the kids at the house with him because I wasn't going to let him know I left him.
Right.
So I just went straight there after I got the call from 7-Eleven. I wasn't playing.
Right.
And I left in. And then the next day, I went back and I got the kids because they was at the daycare and whatever. So I got the kids and then I didn't go home to get nothing. I didn't care. I left with nothing.
Right.
So I waited till he was gone. He has been gone a while because he was on this little crack bench. I had all the utilities, everything shut off because everything in the house was in my name because it was my house. 5 bedroom, 1.5 bath. I had to leave all that to go back living in my car.
And I want to talk about that just for a minute because that's such a thing that many women and I guess men too. I don't really know a lot about men going through the situation, but many women in that situation, everything is yours. I had to move out of my place 3 different times because they don't leave. They won't leave. And when you go to like restraining orders, police, all that stuff, it just doesn't work. They don't leave. They do not leave. And I had to like, okay, well, this was my place that I lived. I lived in a mobile home.
They don't care.
I owned it. Everything. I ended up having to move myself and my son out because he wouldn't leave.
Yep. And that's how it is. They know they don't have to leave.
Right.
And see, like I was saying out tomorrow, I went back to living in my car, but no, I went to live in an apartment, sleeping on the floor.
Right.
And all I had with me was my best friend. I had met him when I was at driving truck. Okay. And I helped him get away from his abusive marriage. He was the abuser, but he still needed to get away from her because she was toxic and causing him to be stressed out to do whatever it was what he was doing. He was in work release. I was down there picking up his car, moving it for him because she was tearing up the car. It was just some crazy stuff. So he helped me move. He didn't stay there with me, but the first couple nights he did because I didn't have my kids there. Sure. And I didn't want to be alone. I didn't know nobody up there. Under me was a group of men, a bunch of gang members was downstairs, a bunch of Bloods. We ended up getting close and tight. Girl, so I done moved in this place. I'm still communicating with him on trying to be civil with the kids and all that. So we meet at my mom's house. He didn't know where I live. His brother stayed a block away, which I didn't find out till after the incident happened. His brother seen the kids, called him and said, I know her tomorrow. Oh yeah, Sharon stayed around the corner from me. He didn't know. He like, huh? And so he like, yeah, I guess, whatever. So all of a sudden one day, me and the kids at the house, I'm over there with the guy from downstairs, a guy, his cousin, which is a guy I met next door, and he wanted to meet me because we walked to the store together. I asked him to walk me to the store because he was talking to me. So why are you talking? Let's just walk to the store. Right. So we walked to the store. We come back the next day. He asked me, man, introduce me to the lady upstairs. He bring him up. Now, while that's going on, I'm in a house by myself, and the phone ringing. It was my kid's dad, and he was like, I'm on my way over there. And I was like, what? I said, you don't even know where I live. He told me, yes, I do. And I said, okay, well, come on. Because I figured he didn't know. Right. I'm just not about to be on this phone arguing. Because that was the last person I ever argued with. When I was 22, I don't argue with nobody. I have not been in another relationship that I couldn't get out of. I always had long-lasting, great relationships since then. So he taught me a lesson. But when he came, so he high. I never seen him this high in my life. I didn't even hardly scare me because I had a balcony on this apartment, on this duplex. I'm upstairs. So he coming down the street, hair standing on his head, and he just walking. He walked from across town. So he don't walk now. He don't hump this time because he used to talk to himself and go crazy. So he pumping himself up, talking. I'm whatever. He come up there. He looked. And he didn't see me, but then when I looked down, because I seen him coming, so I looked, I said, what is you doing? He like, God damn it. He didn't know that I had stairway to come straight up to my apartment in the back. He tried to climb up the front. This is how crazy he was. He tried to climb from the porch. He stood up there and grabbed the gutters, tried to climb up. Girl, please. And I'm talking about he old, he younger than what we is right. But he's too old to be doing that.
He was old at that time.
Older than me because he was gray head. He was gray head. Right. So he come over there. He climbed. He couldn't get up, so he turned around and walked to the back. And he came up the back, and he had a fillet knife. So he done got in the window. He done broke in. So now he got breaking and entering charge. And I hear the doom. And me and the guy, we just on the porch drinking some OEs and looking at some, I got a card collection. I collect sports cards. So we looking at basketball cards, football cards, all kind of stuff, just talking. And we went to high school together. So we were just reminiscing about the good old days.
Sure.
Nothing about dating or nothing even came up. I couldn't even remember his name.
Right.
That was the crazy part that I was like, I think he got in here. He was like, you think so? And I said, yeah, because I just heard that boom. So he immediately told me to sit on this side of the wall away from the door. And this guy had just got out of jail. Just, all this stuff. He on papers. He ain't trying to be in trouble.
Sure.
This man, I walk up and they like this tall to each other. He tall, he looking, the other guy looking up at him. He like, what you doing? I want to talk to Sharon. He said, well, she don't want to talk to you right now. And he was like, who is you? And he was like, man, I ain't got to answer you. You ain't my dad. Or whatever. That's just how it went. Next thing you know, they got the scuffling. So they get the fighting. Girl, I jumped up while they fighting and I ran around because, matter of fact, when I seen him coming, I instantly called 911 because I already knew something about to happen.
Right.
Like, this fool ain't got no business over here. I had to restrain all that on him. So I called 911. They had to been at the corner because before the fight, even when the fight started, they flew right past my place.
Oh, jeez.
They're going the wrong way up the street. Matter of fact, they flew past and they hollering. I was like, call them, get them, because downstairs, they didn't know what was going on.
Right.
Girl, I done ran by, so I needed a key to get out and in. You know, that deadbolt, like he had me locked in that apartment.
Right.
So now I'm stuck in one of these, so I'm shaking. I could not even get the key in the door. So the police beating on the door. I'm like, I can't unlock it. Just give me a minute because I want to go back and check on the guy. Girl, I go back in there. He done cut this man up, like cut him. Cut him up. It was so much blood. It was going everywhere, and I had a fan in the door. And I blew it all over my bedroom. It was dripping, running down like a bucket downstairs. So that's when got their attention. They all getting their pistols, but they didn't see the police. Just flew by. Girl, the police came back. I couldn't get them in the door. Then by the time I go back the second time, he coming out and we bumping each other. I'm like, what? He told me, look what you made me do. And I said, I didn't make you do nothing. This man don't know nothing about us. Like, I didn't even know his name. So when I wrapped the dude, I had to worry about him. So he get out. I done wrapped his head with a towel, with a beach towel, a big old towel, girl, because it was crazy. Called 911, had to get the ambulance. So he done got out the house and they back there with their guns drawn. And they said, put the knife down, I'm gonna shoot. And he said, where you gonna shoot me at?
This is the police saying this to him?
So he's like, you gonna shoot me here? And then they was like, sir, he was like, I bet if I run, you would shoot. So he took off, threw the knife over in this field on this high grass and ran, and they caught him around the corner. But while that's going on, I'm wrapping him up. Girl, I had to go in the ambulance with all that. My mom seen me get in an ambulance because she called me on the news. She said, is that you? She said, it looked like you get an ambulance by your place. And I said, yeah, that was me. So when I get to the hospital, I'm asking the people where he at. And they was like, who you here for? I was like, I don't know.
Even know his name.
I said, the dude that got cut.
Oh my gosh.
Come to find out, he got a baby mama, girlfriend, and he came back home too and all this. Now you out here trying to cheat. And I got cut up. All this other stuff, girl.
Oh my goodness.
It was crazy. So he ended up doing 7 to 15 in there for that. And to tell it, everybody thought that I was with this guy because we went to court and we had on the same color. And he done picked me up because I didn't have a ride. My car's outside. He said, you want to ride? I said, yeah, pick me up. Girl, why he popped up? He had on olive green and I had on olive green. And now we in court sitting together looking like a doggone couple. I was so mad. Because they all hitting him. Somebody, yeah, I told you they was together.
Right.
So now he believed it. He told his whole family we was together. I didn't even know this man. We was not together. We didn't hook up till months later on some sympathy crap after he healed up the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I just
wow.
Yeah.
Was that the end of him then? Because then he went to prison.
Yeah, he went to prison. So he did I think 7 years. Yeah, because my son was 3. So when he got out, my son was 10. And he had a relationship. I didn't get in the way of none of that.
Right.
So when he asked could he come see as soon as he got out, I said, yeah. So when he came, I had my son sitting outside. He picked him up. They spent time together. And throughout my son's years, he was in his life. He taught him work ethic. He owned a landscaping business. He did all kind of jobs. And he used to not just take my son, but my daughter worked with him. And he paid them to work. And they worked. And we had a great relationship after that. We co-parented well.
Good.
And he was, not like he was before, of course, because he had, what you call it, when you go in the jail, rehabilitated.
Which happens not all the time, but it's good that he did.
It was a rocky road, and then me and the other guy, we still friends to this day.
Yeah.
Like, we still hang out every now and then and talk and stuff, but me and his mom is really cool, the guy that got cut up, and me and his family is close, so it was just an experience.
That was definitely.
It was an experience.
And
I learned a lot from it.
I guess so. I think we all did too.
And I never told this story on video.
Well, there you go. So that's what this is all about.
I do want to just let people know that you can overcome things, abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse. Once you learn to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself and somebody else hating you and beating on you and mistreating you, it's going to be real bad.
Right.
So you have to find that love within. I always suggest to people that they love themselves first before you go trying to love another person.
Yeah.
Because if this person don't love their self, you're not going to want to be with them because you love yourself. You're going to peep that real fast that they don't love and care about themselves.
True.
But when you love yourself and you start taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself and pouring into you, those type of relationships are not going to happen.
Right.
Because those people are not going to come to you. They're going to prey on the weak. And people that love themselves are not weak.
Right.
They're very strong, and they're not going to let nothing get in the way of how they feel about themselves.
And don't you think that that's part of like when we're doing that, learning our self-love? Because it's definitely something you have to learn. Because I remember when I was younger and, if you looked in the mirror and you said that you were, you're pretty or your smile's nice or whatever, then you were vain and you were conceited and all that. And I call complete bullshit on that. Sorry about my language, but it's true because we are the only person, honestly, that can convince ourselves of that, right? Yeah. Someone could look at me all day and tell me, Tammy, your hair is beautiful all day long. Until I love my hair, it's not going to matter who tells me that, right? It doesn't matter. So I've learned to embrace those things about me. Like my hair, if somebody tells me now, years ago, if somebody would have said, I love your hair, I would have been like, oh, well, and I would figure out every excuse of why it wasn't beautiful.
I still do it, and I'm still working on that because
it's a work in progress.
People don't know this about me. They don't know I've dealt with having low self-esteem, still dealing with it. Like, I don't think that I look how everybody, whatever. I'm just be like, huh? And they, like I was telling you earlier, people think I'm bougie. People think I'm high maintenance. I don't wear a lick of makeup. I don't shop. I'm so plain. I'm the most budgeting, cost-effective person you ever want to meet. So when I'm in a relationship, I'm the one budgeting. I'm the one saving and putting half of the savings up for a vacation. I'm the one finding the coupons where we gonna eat at the price for one. When we go out on a date, like don't play with me. I'm going to get the coupon. Right. And I'm bringing them buy one, get one free. And I'm fine with that, right? And then we can split that if you want to. Right. But baby, I'm not about to pay for a price. That's just what I'm not gonna do. And I'm nowhere near bougie. I used to buy a lot of shoes when I was shopping real bad before I got this candle business. This will stop you. When you got a job, you got a check coming, you can blow that money.
Right.
This, you can't blow nothing because it go right back to this. Yeah. So it's like you being pimp.
Yeah, right. And we're going to talk about the business in just a second, but I want to go back to the self-esteem.
Yeah.
Because that is so huge. And especially nowadays, with social media, right?
Oh
and
God.
I was going to go back to now if somebody says to me, I love your hair, or I like your hair is beautiful. Man, I come back with, you know what? I'm like, thank you. I'm so blessed. I got them from a friend and I like them. But that's the thing. Like I can now take those compliments and be like, thank you. And I always say this, like if somebody tells me they love my hair, I'm like, thank you. I love it too. And if I don't say I love it, and say anything different, God should hit me with a bolt of lightning because he blessed me with this hair. But it's turning around how we feel about ourselves, how we think about ourselves. But with social media and all of that comparison and everybody's so beautiful with all their filters and all this crap is what needs to be like. I get on social media. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I love it because I can be out here inspiring people. I hate it because I see all the fakeness out there.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy.
You know what I always say? When COVID happened, it really exposed a lot of people because that's really cut me back on all the crap I used to buy. Because what good is it if you can't go out and wear it? So if we had another pandemic, which we will, we're gonna have another one,
Well, we don't
and we're
talk
gonna
about
be locked in this house with you got all them Jordans, all them Cartiers, and all that Rolexes. Baby, you can't wear that. No, don't nobody, ain't nobody
Right.
gonna see it.
Right.
If they start bombing over here like Kuwait and we all messed up, none of that stuff is going to matter. You can't even sell it. You're not gonna be able to sell it to nobody because where you gonna spend it at if all the business blowed up?
Right.
So it really made me think during COVID about how I spend money, how I live my life, and things like that. Because if you put all these people that's claiming to be rich with all these fancy cars and all these fancy houses, line them up with all the people in the projects, strip them all down butt naked, take the weave off, take the lashes, makeup, and all that off. You would not know which one had money and which one didn't.
It's true.
You would not know the difference.
True.
So clothes, makeup, hair, all that, if that's what you gotta do to make yourself look like something, then good for you. Because baby, I ain't gotta do that. I'm happy what God gave me.
That's right.
And I might not be the most confident, but I'm confident
You're
in my
getting
abilities.
there.
In my abilities. I don't care about looks. I never cared about them. And people know that about me. I wear a hat on my head that say, I don't care.
Right.
It say, I don't care. And I wear that proudly. I wear some long socks up to my knees. I'm gonna wear what I want to wear.
That's it.
And long as I'm clean and I'm paying my own bills, I don't care what
That's
nobody
right.
thinks.
Well, and at the end of the day,
I ain't
we
asking
are
nobody for
all
nothing.
right. We are all made perfectly imperfect, right?
Perfect.
And the thing is that however, and that's where it comes to, I just talked about this the other day. Quit worrying about what other people think
Yep.
about
All
you.
you gotta do is live.
All you gotta do is live and be a good person,
That's
right?
it. Pray.
We are made to serve and live and be a
Yep.
good person, be kind, help other people. That's it.
Yeah.
Now that's gonna bring me right into this.
Okay.
So you've had your candle business for about 3 years now?
Yep, be 3 years. It
So-
was 3 years October.
Oh, so you
Last
started
year,
it during the
2020.
pandemic.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. I have another friend that started a gym during the pandemic.
Yep.
So when people are like, I get 2020 was horrible. There were so many things that happened to me that was horrible in that year. But so many people took it and started thriving through that, right?
Amen.
So you decided in 2020 to start a candle business. So let's talk about how that started, and then we're gonna wrap it up here.
Okay, well, that started with me. So with me being a truck driver all my life, most of it, you get laid off work. So I was driving a dump truck. I didn't work no winters, so I was off every winter. So I was collect unemployment, but I knew I was going back to work. So I had after I did the dental assistant, I started a vending business. And that business paid for my way through culinary school. So I went to culinary school, became a chef.
So you did like a vending machine business?
Yeah, see, I got a one in there. I got a vending machine at another shop around in this area. And I have some other machines. But yeah, I started a vending business back in 2008, 2009. And then I also had a catering business. So I knew how to run business. And then so I just needed to educate myself more. So while I was out paying for got out of culinary school, I went to work at Mobis. I didn't even have to go work nowhere because God always took care of me. So I went to Mobis and I said, I'm gonna go pay back $5,000. The reason I say $5,000 because I took out a $5,000 loan at the end of the semester to help me get my car was breaking down. I needed a laptop. I needed things. So I said, let me get the loan. I was almost paid out of pocket, the whole thing except for that. So I went to work. Within 4 months, I developed a herniated disc from laying on my back, twirling on a creeper, torquing transmissions in there. So now I got a herniated disc. And it got bad. So I couldn't work. I had to be on light duty. So then that was in December 2013, 2014 come around. Now I got to have a surgery in June or July, one of the months. I had a discectomy. 3 weeks later, it collapsed. So now I'm walking bone on bone for 8 months. I had to have another surgery in 2015. So now this one put me in a wheelchair. So had a fusion. So they tell me I ain't gonna be able to walk for 6 months, that it's gonna take a year and a half to heal what you did. But it was a lot taking a toll on me because I'm used to being able to run and do what I want to do, and I couldn't. So it broke my heart, it broke my spirit, it had me depressed. I was severely depressed, like suicidal depressed. I'm in a wheelchair. I'm on opioids. I'm drinking Hennessy. I'm smoking weed. I'm going to beauty shop.
Oh,
So now I'm cute in a wheelchair, high and drunk and depressed,
I'm
ready
sorry.
ready
I
to
made the
eat
laugh.
all the pills. I was messed up.
The way you just said
Yeah, I
that,
was on
like,
the porch. I used to sit on the porch in the wheelchair by the door. And then I was telling you earlier how you sit in a recliner right here and watch ants carry food across the floor. And I used to cry because I couldn't get up and clean my house. I couldn't kill the ants. Nobody was visiting me. And I was the person who had the family house, who threw the parties, who did everything. Nobody was there for me at the time, but maybe one or two people. And it woke me up. It made me rethink my whole being, my life, and everything. When I tell you that moment I changed, stopped being there for anybody. Because no, I'm not gonna be in this position. And I knew that when they was telling me this, I was not accepting it. Because you're not gonna tell me I'm not gonna walk. Right. You're not gonna tell me I got in the best therapy that money could buy from that company. They made sure they took care of me. I'm gonna tell you that. So I was in pain management. I got me a therapist, psychiatrist, everything, and got out of that depression. It was the medication. So I was on Flexeril and all this other stuff. And the Flexeril was what was causing me to have suicidal thoughts.
okay.
Once I got off that, I was fine. Then I learned breathing techniques to manage. Oh, sorry. To manage my pain. And so once I did that, I managed the pain through the breathing, and I became very good at it to the point that I didn't need no medication. I still use it to this day without medication. So I wasn't in pain long because I did what I was supposed to do. I ended up finding out when I started there in 2013 that I had diabetes, type 2 diabetes. I was 220 pounds. So I had to lose all that weight. I had to get rid of diabetes, everything in order for me to be able to walk again, and heal faster.
Sure.
So I went and I said, well, I'm in a wheelchair sitting there and I'm just like, I got to do something. I got to do something. I can't just be in this chair. I said, you got to start over. Bad as it hurt me, I did not want to start over. I was tired of starting over. I'm too old to keep starting over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I want to start over. So I just made up in my mind, in August, you getting out this chair and you going to Bowling Green and you're going to apply for college. And I did the application thing online, and my friend, she rode with me. I could barely walk. I was still like using a cane and stuff to get around, or a walker or whatever. I couldn't stand long and stuff like that. But I just had the wheel and the drive to get on that campus. I didn't care how long it took me. I did it. I had some bumps because I had a little thing on I had a warrant that I didn't know about. They told me, got that clear. I went to court the same day and got it cleared up.
Right.
And went back to that campus and gave them the paper, and they accepted me in that college. And I took up management of technology and graduated in 3 years by taking 5 to 6 courses a semester.
Wow.
I was humping. I was trying to get up out of there. And I got my degree. I came out, but I was making these candles in 2014 as a hobby.
Okay.
And I was at the plant at Chrysler when I worked at Chrysler too. Girl, I was giving these candles away. So I started making the candles as a hobby. And I didn't like it because it was bad. And them candles was horrible. They looked so bad, I didn't want to give them away. So I just like, this ain't for me.
Right.
I took it and left it for a year. When COVID happened, my back was against the wall. I was like, I didn't know what to do. I'm praying, meditating. And something was like, you got them candles. And I was like, oh shit. I do. I jumped out that bed and went in that basement and grabbed that kit out. And I started practicing until they were right where I wanted them. And they wasn't right where I wanted them at first, but before I could start selling them, I had to have a smooth top without using the heat gun and all that stuff. So when I mastered that, I had to learn that it's all about temperature control. So once I learned that and figured that out, everything is science with this.
Okay.
So it's formulas, it's recipes. That's why my culinary came in handy with this, because instead of using my palate, I was using my nose and my ears. So I got all that done and I was like, well, I'm gonna start doing events. I did my first event with my friend Afi. She rooted me like, you need to do one. Just do it. My sisters, they was all like, you should do one. Get your stuff out there. I started doing events that day and I ain't never stopped since. I've been going strong. I do probably, I don't even know how many weeks in the year, like, but starting March or April, I do events, at least 3 a week. And it's busy. Like I'm running from city to city, town to town, and people love my products, and more people still finding out about me. And boy, once they get it, they hooked. So
yeah.
It's a wonderful thing to be able to provide such a positive experience in people's homes, because nothing in here, no negativity at all comes in my home. And if it does, I'm saging it out because I'm peaceful.
Right.
I love positivity. I love being happy. And when I work, if I'm in a bad mood, I have to be in a great spirit. And I love just putting positivity in the air. And that's what I tell people. When they like this, you can have all the negative going around you, baby, but this gonna put some positivity in your life.
You know what? And as you said that, I think it's so cool that you said, like, you don't do it like if you got anything going on like that. And people don't realize,
It's not gonna come
they
out
don't
right.
realize that energy that we put out is so important.
Yeah.
It's so important. So if I came in here, I know that I'm gonna buy a candle, I'm gonna take it home, I'm gonna light it, and it's just bringing good energy into my home.
Because first off, ain't no arguing in this house.
Right.
Nobody has raised their voice in this house. And shoot, I've been here 21 years. Not ever, because my last boyfriend I was with for 20 years, he didn't argue, barely talk. So it was no arguing. He was quiet. He was a good Libra. I'm telling you, he was very quiet. I mean, he was a good man.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's awesome. So,
oh my goodness.
That's okay. I just really am blessed to know you, just so you know. And I can't wait to see because we're got some things going on with meetings of the minds and things like that, within the next year, and with Nicola and inspiring women and having a women's night. And I'm just so blessed that God put you in my life, because
I'm blessed too.
You are a light in my life. You make me smile. You make me laugh. You make me know that, remember our worth.
I let you dance.
Let me dance. And actually, she did a video of me at the casino a few weeks ago. If you saw that,
out having us a nice
we
time.
have a nice time. We go out together. Exactly. And it's just a blessing. And for you to get on here and to share with people, because I mean, when you're telling me some of these things, I'm like, I didn't know these things, right? And so much. But since you at a young age have been an entrepreneur, for sure. It's so it's not really funny, but honestly, when people are, I hate to say it like this, but when they're dealing drugs or whatever, they really are an entrepreneur.
It reminds me of that a lot, because sometimes I think in my head, like, man, I can't even spend this money. Like, I gotta re-up.
Right.
So it's like, you can go out here and hustle it, and I go out in the streets. I go to the bars, or I go vend at bowling alleys and certain places I set up, but I won't take everything, but like the incense and the oil stuff, I know that people want to, and I give away stuff. I give away a lot of products to people just so they can try my product. And how do you market it? How do you be so successful? I said, you have to go out, put the product in the customer hand.
Right.
That's what people don't understand. You have to give to receive. So if I go out and give out $200 worth of product a month, which is a lot of product, because that's how I started.
Right.
And I don't have to do that no more. Now I can just hand out business cards because they can smell it on me. Everywhere I go, I smell like a candle. So they know I ain't lying. They don't see no candles, but you can smell it. So what do you think the candle gonna do?
Yeah.
So now I got the carpet fresh.
Yeah.
And this month, if you guys have a chance to stop by, I'm gonna have some local vendors here. Some of their products will be showcased in my shop. And I'm offering that for them for free the whole month, for them to set their stuff up. And so far, the lady brought her stuff last night, and I done had 2 customers already today for her stuff, and they haven't been here that long. So
that's awesome. No, and that's it. It's the giving back and helping each other. And so we will definitely on here, I will put your website and everything on here so everybody can look it up and things like that. And I just can't wait to look forward to what you're doing with all this, because I mean, I met you a couple years ago or a year ago with this, and I know you didn't have.
No, I had that little room in there, which is like a little corner, and I had one table with stuff on it. Now I have a shelves here with my air fresheners, candles. I have a carpet deodorizer that I now make handmade. Only has 4 ingredients, all natural, and everything is handmade. I have hand dipped incense that I make, and I do those so I can customize them in scents. I do a lot of things. I also do white label. So if you would like to sell my products in your store and you want to label it and brand it yourself, you can also do wholesale for that. I do have a couple wholesale customers. So I'm working on building that side of the business up so I don't have to run so much doing events.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. So
Ooh, I'm
I
sweating.
appreciate you sharing, getting on here with me and sharing your story of struggles to strength.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know there's so much more to your story, but we're gonna wrap this one up
Yeah,
for
'cause
today.
we'll
But
do another one later.
We'll come back. We'll come back because I love doing that too, you know, and I always tell people like you're my friend for life, so you're
Oh,
stuck
yeah.
with me no matter what.
That's
But
right.
is there any last little tidbit of advice you want to give people?
Well, I do have a piece of advice. Trust in God
Mm,
and learn to have faith.
mm,
You know, stop trying to hold on to everything and fix everything because it's not, the battle is not yours.
so
So
good.
just let go and let God. I trust me on this. If you just trust God in every single thing you do, your decisions, when you're ready to walk away from a position, when you're ready to leave a relationship, pray on it, and then whatever it tells you to do, just do it. Act on feeling. I done been in jobs and I put in a 2-week notice, but then I have someone say that today is the day.
Yeah.
Today is your last day here. And it could be nothing going on that day, but a word is just saying, leave now. Today is it. And I go in there and say, well, today my last day. I tried to wait 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I just won't go back. And let me tell you, when it works like that, the blessings just come. Everything falls in place. You gotta trust and believe. People didn't believe I was gonna walk away from jobs, that I walked away from jobs paying over $20 an hour and didn't have nothing, like, because I knew that I've done it before and I know I trust God and he never let me down.
That's right.
I'm sitting here
That's true. That's true.
living off of this.
Yeah.
So,
And that's the thing. And that faith, I
it's
mean,
hard.
I've taken those leaps of faith too, where, I mean, I just left a job at the casino this past May where I
Yep.
was making really good money, but it was mentally draining me
Yep.
and I worked too hard on my mental health and I couldn't do it anymore, but I didn't know what I was going to do. But I used the things that I have had in the past and I used those things to keep me going, but it's all been faith. That's it. I'm living on faith right now. And
So,
God does never not bless me with that.
you know how I think before I go find a job? I say, if I could put 8 to 10 hours into something that I want to do for me, see where I get doing that every single day. Do it for a week. Put 8 to 10 hours, like you're going to a job, and just focus on a business, a craft, or anything. Watch how your life change.
Yeah.
Because you're going out making this company money, big money, way more than what they paying you off of your sweat for 8 to 10 hours, and then you coming home. People wouldn't believe that what sometimes I can make in a day, what they make in a week.
Oh, yeah.
Just by putting forth 8 hours of marketing, 8 hours of planning.
Yeah.
Just do it.
And all for you.
Just
all for
do
you.
it. Quit waiting.
Yep, exactly.
Don't procrastinate.
Just do it.
Do
I
it.
think there's a saying that says that. Just do it. Yeah. No, and that's important. And I appreciate you getting on here. And I appreciate you sharing that because that means a lot, right? So you guys, I love everybody getting on Hope. This has been one of the greatest journeys that I've been on, just because I get to hear these amazing stories and you get to share your story. And I think that's just so great. And then somebody gets to hear your story and they're like, oh my gosh, if Sharon got through all that, I can get through this. And it might not be as bad as her story. It might not be as crazy, which was wow. But here she is, right? I mean, I don't know, you had a gun to your head pretty much a little bit.
I done had a couple.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a whole, but so just to know that we can get through the things. And she talked about God. You all know that God is my savior. God is how I've gotten to where I'm at today. God is how I've been sober for almost 20 years, So we just have to remember and have that faith and believe.
He'll never leave you or forsake you.
That's right. And I appreciate every one of you getting on Hope. I hope that you all have an amazing day. And maybe you heard Sharon's story today, and it's the day that you can get up and get out of bed and just know that you can do it. Step one foot at a time. You don't have to take a great big leap, but if you don't take a forward step, you're just going to stay where you're at. So you guys have an amazing day.
Just start.
And that's right. Just start. Thank you so much, Sharon. I appreciate it.
Anytime.